I had 3 cat women. It's 27 lives, isn't it, that I had to go through? Whew. You give me curious stirrings in my utility belt, Catwoman. My first day on the set, it was an exterior on the back lot at Fox. This series might be somewhat different in that as I arrived and sat down in my chair, the Riddler's car exploded in front of me, and rubber shrapnel flew by my head, and there were screams and people running, and I sat there just kind of thinking, do I want to put that cowl on or not?
On the series and on the movie, I had a wonderful stuntman, but my stuntman, Victor Paul, a terrific guy, always seemed to be off having a coffee with Adam while I'm getting hurt with the Batman stuntman, Hubie Kearns. You know, they had a policy, you know, on Batman, and that was, if there's ever anything really dangerous, always use Burt. And as a result of that, I was constantly in the emergency hospital. You know, I thought I was an unlucky guy. And during the first episode, I mean, 4 days in a row in the emergency hospital, I didn't think I was going to survive the first week.
I think that we had a marvelous prop department and special effects department. They did get a little overzealous from time to time. And I remember poor Burt, as Robin, was blown off tables and singed a bit. We had a contraption called the Bat Cycle. And I used to ride a motorcycle back and forth to work and so on, and I was okay on the Bat Cycle. But poor Burt, not so good, because he was in the sidecar. And you see, Batman would push a little button and give an order, whatever, and that sidecar was then rigged, we thought, to go in a certain direction and end up at a certain point. It very seldom did that. So Burt would be screaming and white-knuckled. I'd push the button and he would careen away from the Bat Cycle, and he never knew, I didn't know where he was going to end up. I mean, one time I think he went over a pier into the water. There was another time he went into, there was a chicken farm, and he went into where the chickens lay there. It was terrible. But Burt was very brave about these things. He was naive.
We had some very interesting thing happen on the Batman movie, a little bit scary. It was the last fight scene that we had, and we were fighting all the 4 villains and their henchmen on the Penguin submarine. And this was filmed out at Fox's ranch out in the Malibu area, where they had it's like a big lake. It was really incredible, but it was only about 4 feet deep, and they had various bars and stuff under the water that they used to tie things down, and one of the stuntmen who dove into the water hit his head, and he's lucky he didn't die. But he turned out, it's okay, everything turned out great. What Batman the movie gave us was an opportunity with a little bit bigger budget to have more toys in there. For example, we had the Batcopter. We had the Batboat. We also had never filmed going up the bat pole. We'd always been sliding down the bat pole, so now we had going up the bat pole, which they pulled that footage and they used it a lot in subsequent episodes of the show.
We had that infamous Batman and Robin wall walk.
When you think Batman, with people in weird outfits, like the 4 super crooks hanging around here, it's amazing someone hasn't already reported this place to the police.
Somebody told me at one point that we had 250 guest stars, and among them, people who wanted to do the show, Frank Sinatra, Bobby Kennedy, people like that, and people would pop out of a window, as you probably remember, and it could be anybody from Jerry Lewis to Dick Clark, you know. We had, we had Tallulah Bankhead, Carolyn Jones, and Baxter. There were those who did Batman as, I think, the first jobs. Jim Brolin, Rob Reiner, Terry Garr, Vincent Price as Egghead was wonderful. And one day, as part of toward the end of the show, he was supposed to throw eggs. Well, they brought in dozens of old eggs, and he threw a few eggs, and I didn't like it. Burt didn't. Nobody liked it. We started to throw eggs back, and it became this huge egg fight with this terrible, smelly mess of eggs on the stage. It broke the tension, but it was the biggest, most horrible omelet you've ever been in.
Both Adam and I tried to do our laughing before the take, but that didn't always happen. The problem is when you put Adam and I together, there is some chemical reaction. I'm not sure what it is. It's been 35 years, I still don't know what it is. But something happens when you put the two of us together, and everybody starts laughing. I mean, we start laughing. Everybody laughs.
One of my favorite scenes remains that bomb scene in the movie. Our director, Les Martinson Jr., I'd worked with before. Les was marvelous because he elaborated, he staged, he set up that scene so that it was more than what we were presented with on paper or whatever. And I had a chance to improvise a bit, but Les gave us the ducks and the nuns and the lovers in the boat, so that that particular sequence became an arc of frustration. And to have it end with that line.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
These are moments that are played by people on the street when I see them all the time. I hear that wherever I go. I wonder what they mean. Some days you can't get rid of a bomb. I hope it doesn't reflect on my entire career.
Kids love Batman. It's hero worship. It's clean. It's wonderful entertainment, and it's something the family can enjoy together. And I think what's going to be interesting about this DVD is I think there's going to be a lot of DVD equipment that is worn out with Batman being played over and over and over, because these kids, they love this hero worship. Every kid in the world wants to be a superhero.
I had very little in common with Bruce Wayne. The only thing I think I had in common with Batman really was a moral fiber. I was taught early on to be honest and not take myself too damn seriously.
Our job is finished.